It's time for the Steve and Kyle podcast with Kyle.
I signed a foot. Must have been a foot person. I don't kink shame.
Yeah.
But we wrap up.
So
and
they're
I
into feet, so you signed their feet?
I mean, listen, I don't know what they like. I don't know what feet people like.
They could, yeah, they just like their
Maybe
own
it
feet.
was the feel of the Sharpie on the foot that
Could
really
be. Yeah.
revved that engine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I lied. I am going to kink shame. If you're into feet stuff, I don't like you.
And Steve.
The crooked swing set's still out there.
I still maintain that's just the terrain of the earth.
Go slap a level on that thing.
Oh, it's crooked. It's so crooked, in fact, that when Evelyn said, "Oh, can you make the chains?" She wanted to raise it up because her feet were dragging on the ground. So I had to raise it by like 3 links on one side and 2 on the other.
Live on tape from APS 3 point whatever, it's the Steve and Kyle podcast.
Melissa doesn't get enough credit on this podcast.
I would argue for what she charged and how many times we've mentioned her, she's gotten her fair share of credit.
You think we don't need to thank her anymore?
No, I like thanking her because she's a very important part of that warm, comfortable blanket that people come to expect with this podcast.
Yeah.
It's 2 out-of-context clips with Malt Shop Bop banging underneath.
Mm-hmm.
And then they know it's time to settle in once they hear Melissa Vaughn herself really bring it home.
The MV, as we call her.
That one time we spoke to her via message.
Yeah.
That's what we called her then?
Yep. Accurate. All right. Here we are. This is, it's weird because we're in the time of the year where things are chaotic, and I got vacation time coming up.
I want to ask you about it.
You're going away too, right? Aren't you going away?
Yeah,
for a while?
we're going camping.
Yep.
Kyle camping, which is has to have a cabin. You won't see me in a tent.
Mm-hmm.
Away from, it's not even really the electricity, but I've stayed in one of these cabins too, where they, the showers and bathrooms are in a separate spot.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I'll pay a little extra to have my own.
Yeah,
it's just easier.
It's much easier,
and with a kid too, obviously, much easier. So, going camping for a long weekend here in the northern area of Michigan.
Mm-hmm. You want to say where you're going? Maybe give out the
I don't care.
The number, the lot number that you're going to be at, the dates you're going to be there.
Tell you what, when I get that information, I'll pass it on. Is this
just immediate family? Just you and the wife and the kid? Or are you going
my
with...
My brother and family are going to be
okay.
there. I think my mom and dad are coming up for a day or two.
All right.
I'm pretty...
Is Robert a camper? Your brother Robert, does he have he seems like somebody who'd have one of those 40-foot toe behind campers that's basically like something that you would see your favorite band on tour in.
Right. I'm guessing that's the next purchase once he decides, once he gets bored of boat in, who knows, another 18 months.
Yeah.
And tries to sell it in December.
Right, the best time of the year to sell a boat.
Loses everything on it and then decides I need a 45-foot RV for my family with a kid in, at that point, junior high and my other kid in high school.
Yeah. You know what's nice? Having a house. You know what's nicer? Having 2 houses and one of them is on wheels.
Or, because they cost so much, one house and it's all on wheels.
Yeah.
No, he will go in he'll be in a cabin as well. The whole family. He'll have what appears to be the whole house somehow packed into his truck.
Yeah.
He'll have the Blackstone, which is the new thing that everybody has to have.
What is that?
That's the flat top grill that you can cook on.
Blackstone.
Yeah, you never heard of the Blackstone?
I don't think so. Maybe if I see it,
It's good for all types of food, but a lot of people use it for mostly breakfast because you can do everything on it. It's essentially what you'll see in a restaurant kitchen,
okay.
Right?
All right, so it's a
He'll
flat
pack that thing.
flat top. Really, the whole thing.
It's
not as big as I
Oh, there's different sizes, Steve. Okay. Trust me, it's a whole community. Don't offend them.
Because I'm looking at this and I'm thinking it's going to be some massive thing, but I'm like 28-inch. And it's $300, so it right. Seems like I would imagine it's one of those things where you can probably easily spend $3,000 on one if you get the super huge one with
and
all
I guess if you show up to Blackstone Day with your $200 Blackstone, you're getting laughed out of Blackstone Fest. And the last thing you want to do, you never want to offend the Blackstone community.
No.
And
put that on the poll. It's the last thing you want to do is get kicked out of Blackstone Fest. I didn't know that this was a thing.
It's Blackstone community, it's the meat community, and they intersect in the dumbest world possible. Okay? So if you really care about...
in the camping community?
They're all in campgrounds. The whole lot of them.
All right.
They're all hanging out there talking about, meat temperatures and...
Were you going medium well on that?
Flat top grills.
I'm surprised that this is a big thing because these are propane, right? These are propane-powered grills.
Yes. Less of I guess it is a grill.
It's a flat top.
It's a flat top, yeah. So it's essentially just like a restaurant.
It's like a hibachi
diner.
restaurant. Oh, has Robert learned how to do hibachi? Can he do the thing where you roll the egg and then... Has ever been to a hibachi place?
Steve, no. This is a man that's going to cook meat and breakfast foods on this Blackstone.
Okay.
Okay? Yeah. That's how that's going to go.
All right.
Just like you're going to see at your local diner.
Yeah.
Where they're not, tossing oil into an onion mountain and then watching it explode.
Oh, but that's the best part. And then he does the fire engine sound effect and the little squirt bottle comes out and puts it out. But then he takes the squirt bottle and acts like he's going to squirt you and a little string comes out. Everybody laughs.
Only been to one of those once.
Really?
Yeah, it is. It's okay. It's not
I love it.
I'll put it out. Are you a fan of the hibachi restaurant? I'll put that on the poll as well because...
Love it. We should go.
Yeah.
Whole family.
You're still trying to convince me to, at some point, do loaf night here. Yeah. And I'm just making sure that somewhere in my phone I have a constant list of excuses so I don't have to come over for loaf night.
Hey, we're doing meatloaf tonight. You want to come over?
Shoot. My dog is dead.
Well, it shouldn't keep you from coming out then.
Oh, the other one's sick.
It's a shame. All right, so Robert's a Blackstone man.
Yes.
Oh boy, I might have to look into one of these.
And a camper?
I'm going to have to look into one of these next time.
Are you about to join the community?
Oh, I don't know. I just want to see what's so good about them next time I'm at one of the big box stores.
I think it's the idea that, I keep coming back to breakfast, and I may be incorrect, but, you could have your eggs, bacon, sausage, hash browns, or potatoes, or whatever, all going at one time on the one flat top.
You can do that on a regular grill. You just have to get the pan.
So you're going to buy special parts and then go turn on your... Okay. Absolute idiot.
Oh, look at this. I can get $10 off a Blackstone.
I would like to see you join a community that's less goofy than the Jeep community.
Oof. Well, that shouldn't be a problem because they're about as goofy as they come.
Yeah, I'll post that in the poll as well. What's a more goofy community, the Jeepers or the Blackstones?
Do I pay the extra $45 for the 2-year warranty?
No, you never ever pay for the warranty, and then you just rely on the fact that if it dies, you'll be able to chat with some support and threaten to take your business elsewhere long enough that you'll get a new one.
I gotta be honest, I don't hate this thing.
It's not bad. Listen, if
I would miss the open flame for doing steaks or something.
Well, yeah, but the idea is I don't think you would replace your grill with it. This is an addition.
Wait, so Robert has 2 grills?
And a smoker. I'm telling you, the meat community is weird.
All right, yeah, no, I can't get in on this. I don't like when things only have one specific function.
There may be, but this may just be like your idea of with the grill, you can get the add-on to do things like this. With this, you may be able to get an add-on.
You might be able to
grate.
Well, no, you might be able to remove it.
Right. I'd like to see you pitch this up the ladder.
Oh, I think that Annette would. Anytime it comes to outdoor grilling, cooking, anything like that, I think she'd
be on board.
She is all on board.
Now, is the idea then that because the hope and the idea is that you would then make better or more food?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that more, yes. Better, I don't know. That's kind of a skill thing,
right?
And something I still haven't mastered and don't really have any desire to master because I don't want to be part of the meat community.
Oh, Well, now you're picking fights. Now you're picking fights.
Maybe I'd
like to see you take it like just a
hair further.
Yeah, maybe not like, I don't want you to go over the line and say,
right.
you know, all people obsessed with meat, you know, typically supported the Nazi party. That's too far.
Right, yeah, I would never say that.
That's asinine. And to imply that on a public forum such as ours would be reckless and ill-advised. Mm-hmm. But I'd like to see you somehow manage that gap between I don't want to be a part and they're Nazis. Can you bridge it?
You may have to give me some time.
Okay.
We might have to come back. Oh boy, I just noticed we're
not on air.
Forgot to plug in the light.
Steve, we had an interesting conversation before this podcast, and I wanted to kind of bring it to you with a question.
All right.
We were talking about Succession.
Yeah. Finally finished it last night.
I
sat down and
that's what I wanted to bring up, because you're in a field where it is not that easy for you to, you guys kind of, at least last I checked, I thought, talk about things that are current, relevant, happening.
Pop culture, TV, movies.
So you were able to avoid...
I was.
Now, was it discussed on the radio program? Were there callers on the radio program?
No, because we wouldn't... We may talk about how we watch certain shows, like, oh man, I love this show right now, it's so great, but we're not going into the nuts and bolts of it. Like, Did you see in episode 4 that when they did this and this and this? No, we're not breaking it down like you'd see the sports guy breaking down the big game.
So kind of a spoiler free where you guys would talk about it, but you were able to avoid it because that was a month ago too. So by this point, there's been every think piece you can think online that you're probably scrolling past. You're like,
every time I see a picture of a character pop up in a thumbnail image, I kind of do the thing where I avert my eyes and scroll a little bit past it. I didn't, because off the air at work, it would be discussed. And any time it was, I'd just be like, all right, I'm going to go out in the hallway, go grab a drink or run to the bathroom or something. And everyone's, respectful of that. Or they'd say something like, hey, did you watch episode 5 yet? Because I want to talk about something. I'd be like, nope, I'll go grab a drink. But yeah, I managed to avoid it. I'm also way behind on Ted Lasso. I think I'm only 3 or 4 episodes into the final season.
Okay.
Or what is the most recent season, which may be the final season.
Not officially announced as the final season.
Yeah.
But
I heard one spoiler.
Okay. But how do you react now? Because maybe it's different 5 years ago, right? When obviously your time is a little bit different in terms of how you can invest it and spend it. Maybe you're watching it, if not live, close to live, like you and Ned are saying, hey, tomorrow... when we get home, we're going to watch it.
If it's on Tuesday night, I'll watch it by Wednesday night.
And it's also, it's been on, like Ted Lasso 3 seasons. Succession was, I don't even think we ever found out 3 or 4, whatever it ended up being. Does it affect you? Like, if you got spoiled from the radio show or whatever on Succession before yesterday, does that oh man, are you bummed? Are you upset? Are you angry?
A little bit bummed, I would be. And definitely not angry. I'd probably be a little bit bummed, but then, I don't know, it makes you watch a little bit differently. It's kind of like the second time you watch a show or a movie, you know how it gets to the end point, but it's always interesting.
It's the adventure.
It's interesting watching it the second time around because you're able to say, oh, I didn't even notice that the first time, or oh, that comment right there, I would have never picked up on that.
Yeah, and if you know the one plot point that's coming, whatever it may be, you're kind of picking up the breadcrumbs to feel like, oh, okay,
right.
So they're going to use this to get to B to C to D.
Trying to make your way there.
Yeah, I understand. I was just curious because a guy in your early 30s, as we discussed.
Yeah,
didn't know if that aggravates you, and obviously you're in a difficult position, being where, hey, that's the topic of the day. Well, to a degree, right? It's still an HBO show with, 2 million viewers, which in the scheme of things, 10 million people watching NCIS. But still, it's the topic of the day, and you'd have to sit there and grit your teeth and be like, oh, no, let's take calls, or let's talk about this finale that I won't be able to get to for 3 weeks.
Yeah, we never, on the air, there's never that in-depth of conversation. Because, like you said, 2 million people, nobody, that's basically no one.
Right, in the scheme of things, as much as you see online, which is obviously an echo chamber, the idea of Ted Lasso and Succession, being these phenomenons. They're good, but again, the scope of things, 98% of the world has no idea what they are.
Right. Yeah.
None. And
it's interesting to look at it that way.
It's out of sight, out of mind.
Yep.
But okay, well that's good. I'm glad because I would not, I would feel that would be uncomfortable having stick your finger in your ears like if you found out that AFC Richmond comes in second in the Premier League. Ted Lasso moves back to Kansas City, and Roy takes over as head coach of AFC Richmond, and Nate is the assistant coach. Beard stays in England and marries Jane. They have a baby. Ted Lasso's wife cheats on her, or not cheats on him, but marries the.
Is this it?
This is it.
This is it. This is finally my comeuppance.
This is the 15-year comeuppance. For what happened on my birthday, 13 years, I think, on my birthday, for Friday Night Lights.
Whew. Well played. Actually going to shake your hand.
Yeah, I have to tell you, my heart sunk so hard. Katie and I talked about this last week. Okay. I meant to do this last week.
Okay.
So last week I was going to be able, if I had actually remembered before we were so sidetracked by...
Wow.
What did we... what was the big hitter last week?
Let's see. We were probably talking about pants or something.
Well, obviously we're recapping the big parade. And so I literally forgot to do this. So I got home and Katie said, did you do it? Yeah. I said, no, I forgot. I said, the time was probably past, like another week. But then I told her, I said, Steve, Mom's in town this weekend.
Yeah.
I wonder if that gives him about 3 realistic days where him and Annette will be able to watch it before she left.
Have a little bit of extra time sometimes. I got to say, though, I'm not... of everything you said, and
nothing surprising.
I think I heard most of it. Yeah. I know that I knew that there was something with Nate.
Oh, hang on. Spoilers for Ted Lasso.
Very respectful of you. I knew that Nate. I heard this spoiler. It was like Nate quit at.
Yeah.
That character has been so strange.
It was a weird up and down season. So yeah, I got home last week. Katie asked if I did it. I said, no, I forgot. And I said, I'll figure out a way to mention it. And then you, unprompted before recording, you mentioned that you want Succession. And so my heart sank because I thought, that's it. It's over. I bet you they had already watched Ted Lasso. They're shorter episodes generally, so they're easier to watch too. And I thought, he's definitely already watched Lasso. Yeah. And now he's finished Succession. The opportunity must now go back to bed for another 13 or so years. For anybody out of the loop, Steve, which is probably most people. Friday Night Lights, which is a very famous book from the 80s.
Yep. Turned into a movie.
With Billy Bob Thornton. Turned into an NBC show starring Kyle Chandler.
Of course, Kyle Chandler and the amazing Amy Teagarden.
Just tremendous work from a lot of the actors in that show. Mm-hmm. And that show ran for a very testy, I think it was 5 seasons, to where the last few seasons started airing on DirecTV.
Yep.
Before the season would re-air on NBC. So I didn't have DirecTV. So I believe this is when you were in your apartment or maybe your first house.
No, it was in my house and I had DirecTV there.
So while you and I were both in love with the show, we loved it.
Absolutely loved it. Even though there were some weird points. There was the whole murder plot. Right. Spoiler alert.
Which, by the way, in case you're wondering, is what can go wrong with the writer's strike?
Oh, was that writer's strike?
Yeah, that was rushing to get anything onto camera. And in case you're wondering, just look up the very famous Friday Night Lights season 2, and you'll get a massive amount of columns about what the heck happened with this wondrous show. Why did they screw it up?
That was strange. Yeah, that was strange. Yeah, so
you had DirecTV.
I had DirecTV, so I watched it. But you had it. Now I could be completely wrong, but in my memory, you had watched all but the last episode and you were like holding out. You weren't going to watch it.
So it had been. You had probably seen the last episode, and I would guess a month or 2 before, maybe even longer.
I feel like it was longer. In my mind, it was like 6 months to a year, and you still hadn't watched it, and you were like just digging your heels in saying, nope, I don't want to watch it.
It's so hard to remember because this is unlike anything that has happened on TV in terms of the way it's on DirecTV channel 200.
Yeah, exactly. It was a weird So
setup. I know there was a delay, but I knew also like, hey, I'm going to watch this finale. It's one of those shows that I didn't want it to end, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So Steve, you thought that the best opportunity to have this discussion was at, I want to say it may have been my 21st birthday. And I remember exactly where I was. I was sitting.
I remember we were at a bar. Like I can picture sitting across from you.
Yeah. I was sitting at one of those very low tables with like hand carved stools at the local place that used to sell crack fries. Are they even still open anymore?
Yeah.
And we were sitting in the corner. Like I remember, it's in my brain.
We should go back. We should relive it.
I'd walk in the door, and you'd take an immediate right. So we were in like the front long table because there was probably 6 or 8 of us.
Yeah.
And we sat there, and we were just talking. And I don't even know if we were talking about Friday Night Lights or if it somehow came up. I feel like it wasn't as out of context. Like it wasn't like, hey, this and this about the radio show, or this and this about work, and then you, blah, Friday Night Lights, right?
No, because I remember setting it up, saying, like, don't worry, I'm not going to spoil it for you. But here's just something that happened, and then I just kept going, and I told you every scene.
You did.
In the last episode.
Yeah, you fully ran down the entire...
it was like I had a script in front of me.
And I've never forgotten it.
It's like, scene, interior, dark hallway.
I've never forgotten it because that was a longer term show, that ran, again, 5 seasons. So it was that, and it was network TV. So it wasn't Ted Lasso or Succession 8 weeks or 9 weeks or 10 weeks. This was September through May, a television season.
Yeah.
So like you're invested, right, in one of these shows that has an end date. And you just, it wasn't even a rip the Band-Aid moment off. It was like rip my shirt off. It was so abrupt. And I remember just sitting there aghast at what had just happened to me. And my soul left my body.
That was the only time I have ever taken joy in giving a spoiler. So if that's any consolation for you.
And then,
but it was so worth it.
I remember it must have been less than a week later. I watched that finale so dejected because it didn't matter.
Yeah.
I knew everything. It was a
great
coming.
Ending, though.
It was fine.
It was a great ending.
And I actually rewatched that.
Tammy finally got to live her life.
I actually rewatched that show last year, and got to that point.
Did you get mad end. All over again?
And it wasn't even mad, Steve. I was sad because I had remembered what happened 10 or 11 years prior, and I thought, oh yeah, I watched all of these 80, 90 hours. There was, 22 episodes, 15, 13, 13, 13. And again, those last 3 seasons all premiered on DirecTV. And I have been slowly biding my time. And I didn't even know you watched Succession.
Yeah.
Until I happened to see you comment on our friend Wendy Reed's post. A while ago.
Yeah.
And Katie said she saw that too. I said, oh yeah, I didn't even know you watched Succession. And then the wheels turned very slowly. And again, I thought I lost it. I thought I lost it a week ago.
Well, I will say that was very well played. That was I let my guard down.
Now how do you do this with a net?
I don't.
Are you going to act entirely like, oh wow, I can't believe he's going back to Kansas City?
No, I'll just say I know the ending. I'll say Kyle's a piece of garbage that spoiled it for me.
Which, by the way, just so you know, you will know probably, if you don't already, well, you now actually know. But the tea leaves show Ted getting ready to bolt town pretty soon after into
like
season
3. I think we're 3 or 4 episodes in,
right.
And you can already tell that. I mean, any scene that has his wife or his ex-wife, whatever she is,
right,
and the son. Every time there, I'm like, well, he's not long for this world in England. It's not gonna continue like this forever.
Right.
So
I do have an update on the dates. The series finale of Friday Night Lights. So, boy, this one I personally think this makes you look a little bit worse. This debuted on February 9th, 2011 on DirecTV.
Okay.
So it was not my 21st birthday. I was, at that point, 23 going on 24. Mm.
I was going to say, I don't think I knew you. Did I know you?
No, 2010 I would have been 23 already, yeah. So that aired on DirecTV on, again, February 9th, 2011.
I'm going to go back. I'm actually going to pull up my calendar and see if there's any indication, like, hanging out with Kyle tonight or
Look
something.
around my birthday weekend, which would be March 5th.
Don't know when that is.
March 5th. I would look around that area, whatever that weekend is.
Of what year? 2011?
2011.
2011.
That same episode.
March of 2011. March. Oh, there it is. March 5th. Let's see. Earlier in that week, I had to make sure that I got the breakfast order in on Thursday.
Oh, you got it. Yeah, listen, that's the biggest. That was. Yep. Mess up the breakfast order and pay repercussions for eternity.
Let's see. And then I had to, that Friday, of course, Friday the 4th, I had to make sure that the Saturday Best Of show was in. Mm-hmm. Also had to send out an email blast.
Oh, boy. Mm-hmm. Glad those are dead?
Man, it's crazy looking back at how little I had to do back then. I had to send one email a week make sure that the breakfast was right.
And if we had to recap all of those events, I or someone else was doing the Saturday show at that point, and someone else would go pick up the breakfast.
I simply
and usually make the breakfast order or send an email. You would just have to make sure, hey, send that email to the breakfast place? Okay.
So in other words, my schedule was just a list of things that I had to tell other people to do.
Hey, oh, boy, you were upper level middle management in terms of what you had to do.
Look, for the entire month of March.
Yeah. You got like 6 things?
Breakfast order, Saturday Best Of, email blast. That covers week 1.
Okay.
Same thing in week 2. Same thing in week 3, except for a meeting at noon on Monday. Same thing for week 4.
So busy March then, huh?
And on the final day of March, I had to get fitted for a tuxedo.
Oh, so we're getting married, huh? Either that or you guys had some live show coming up that...
Oh, yeah, yep. The game show. The game show was April 1st. Yep. Look at that, man. My first week in April was packed. Lola got spayed.
Oh, good.
And I played racquetball once.
You should figure out how to bring this back to the other show members and be like, hey, we should do like a realignment. You guys remember that breakfast thing? I'll take that. I'll do that every Thursday. And the weekend shows? Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, so yeah, things were busy.
A little bit of sad nostalgia for you now that you realize what you do on a day-to-day, huh?
Oh my God.
So again, February 9, 2011, that aired on DirecTV. Steve, I am guessing you were probably watching that on February 10.
February 9th. Let's see.
Live on DirecTV. You probably either watched that live on the 9th or, recorded it, watched it the next day when you got home from work at, 11, 10 a.m. Mm-hmm. Or, I'm sorry, 10:25 a.m. Mm-hmm. Hit off on the microphone. Steve's car's already started. I'm sorry, that was one of the multiple Rangers. So I'm guessing it wasn't already started.
Yeah.
I was not able, as we said, the weird distribution deal that happened. This aired live on NBC on July 15, 2011.
Okay, so that's quite a bit. All right. So let me go back in time to July.
So to be clear,
because I don't think that I spoiled it on your birthday.
We were out, and the only reason I would have been out at that point was for the birthday. I remember that,
but it could have been any time. See, I think that...
You think we were celebrating my birthday in June?
No, what I'm saying is I think that we were out in July after you could have watched it, and you still hadn't watched it yet.
I
would not have spoiled it before you were physically able to watch it.
I'm going to post on the poll. I disagree. I remember it was cold. And I am almost positive we were out for my birthday because it was a mix, one of those mixes of
Maybe
like
it was
people.
Do you think it was the following year? You still hadn't watched it?
No,
I do.
So I'm sorry. Do you remember how I was going to phrase that? If Steve had known, would he have spoiled it?
There was a point where I said, enough is enough. You can watch this, and you haven't watched it yet.
This has been not even a slow turn to now that you were in the right.
Yeah. Look, sometimes people need to be put in their place.
Hey, quickly, before we get out of here,
look at that. Yeah, we got a couple. I think we started this episode, but we digress. Yeah. Recording schedule's all weird these next couple weeks.
Yeah, we've got. I wanted to get to you about your vacation. We'll just have to recap that when you get home.
Yeah,
because I wanted to ask you.
We can talk real quick about vacation.
Well, we have a couple things on the docket. So tell me which of these two you would rather discuss for our last.
All right, we'll spin the wheel
segment here. We need to talk about one of the most disturbing videos that you and I have seen in a while.
I think we can. I kind of want to talk about that right now.
Or I have a handful of questions to you just about the big travel vacation coming up, the big driving travel vacation with you and the whole
Let's
fam.
start with that.
Okay. That's what I wanted to get to because we've neglected to fully discuss it. We talked about it a few months ago, and you found one of the deals of the century with the luggage rack. I'm sorry, not luggage rack, but one of those big bubble things.
Yeah, the luggage carrier.
That was going to fit on top of, will that fit on top of Annette's new car now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, and it's so in my algorithm now. I see those things all the time.
I get those
all the time.
We were looking for a bike trailer a couple weeks ago. Got one, and still, that's all I see now. That's all I see.
We gotta. I'm telling you, we gotta start that business of what was it, like Steve's crap for rent.
Steve's crap for rent. Yes, and
it was luggage carriers.
Yep.
Bike hitches, racks,
hitches. We're gonna do the whole 9.
Yeah, because nobody wants to buy one of them and have to keep it for
I think
362 days in a year.
I think you and I had just simply run into the only issue left was how do we guarantee we get our stuff back?
Right.
And we hadn't run into one of those. Is this one of those where kind of like when you take a used car for a test drive at a private party 10 years ago, you just keep their license?
Yeah. Here you go.
Like, do we just do that? Keep their license for a week vacation when they're in like the...
Well, I think we had flirted with the idea of getting some of those Apple AirTags.
That's right.
And just gluing it to the bottom where no one will see it.
You would think a contract with their credit card info, though, where then we can then charge them, hey, if it's not backed by...
Yeah, but then I don't want to do credit card stuff.
So we're straight cash?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Cash or Venmo.
So you just want to really make it ripe for corruption. Unripe for theft.
Yeah.
So we'll end up buying more bike trailers and more luggage racks than ever before because people just keep leaving with them for hey, I got this new luggage rack for $30.
Oh,
these idiots didn't make me sign anything.
We just do the deposit. Say, okay, it's going to be $120 for the 4 days that you're going to use it, but it's a $7,000 deposit in cash.
I was wondering what dollar amount you're going to go with in the deposit. And I was like, boy, if he says $100, I think we might still lose the value. But I'm glad you shot that just straight to the moon and went $7,000. So we've only talked about it fleetingly, and I need to kind of pick your brain a little bit about where you're at mentally for this vacation. For you guys, I'm not concerned about it.
Yeah.
You've done the drive to Jersey. You've done...
Never with kids, though.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
You've done it. Has Annette driven with you to the coast?
To Jersey, yeah. Yeah,
road trips
handful of times.
Right? So it's,
it's easy when it's two adults.
Your relationship and marriage survived. It's not like you guys are like, I've been in a car for 12 hours and I'm ready to rip her hair out. Whatever.
Nope. Get in the car. We'd leave at 5 a.m. We'd be there by dinner time.
So I have questions for you because when you talked about your Disney vacation, the day you went to Disney, I was a little bit alarmed at the preparations.
Or lack thereof.
Lack thereof.
Yeah.
So this one's a little bit different.
Yeah.
What is the time you've allotted? Let me ask you first. What is the time if you and Annette were going from here in West Michigan to wherever you're going in Tennessee, the time you could do it? Like you would plan for you and Annette to be there? 12 hours? 14 hours?
Well, if it was just us, we'd probably fly.
Okay.
We would most likely fly because it would be... It's not terrible. I think it's like a we could probably do it in 10, 11 hours.
Okay. So what have you gone through in your mind a time estimate for you with the kids now?
Yeah, it's going to be split up over 2 days.
Okay.
So we're leaving here on a Friday because we have the house that we're renting with my brother and his family, my sister and her family, and my mom. So I think we have the house Saturday 4 p.m. I believe is check-in to the following Saturday.
Like one of the rental places? Is that what it is? Like a rental house?
It's just it's a VRBO, okay. A big house. Sleeps like 20 people or something.
Perfect. Way up in the mountains.
Yeah, so I think we have it from Saturday 4 p.m. until the following Saturday. I think we have to be out by 10 a.m. or something.
I already like for your mental stability and Annette's mental stability, I like that idea.
The 2 day?
Splitting it into 2 days.
Trip, yeah.
So you can go...
Part of me, though.
I know you just want to be there.
Part of me is like, we can make it.
And you're also...
But if we do, we're screwed because we can't get into the place until the following day.
And you're also, you need a car, but in the back of your mind, now you're spending money on a hotel, plus the gas, plus whatever tolls or whatever it might be. So you're like, boy, I could probably fly for the same amount or cheaper. But obviously, you have so much stuff.
2 kids, it's just such a pain to pack everything.
Okay, so you're doing it over 2 days. Now, is this one where I have a friend who lives in Minnesota, and when he comes home with his young kids to West Michigan, which is probably like 7 hours, something like that, they will put the kids to bed, but then wake them up at like 1 in the morning and get on the road to come here.
No.
So you're just leaving standard, like you're going to get home from work on a Friday.
We're leaving after I get home. We're hoping to be on the road by 1 o'clock or so on Friday because we're gonna. The plan is pack the car the night before, pack basically 95% of the stuff, and then I get home from work. I'll probably eat something real quick, and then we'll hop in the car. If it's just us, it's a 10-hour, 11-hour drive. I'm figuring at least an extra 2 hours, 3 hours, because every stop is not just going to be stop, gas up, go to the bathroom, get back on the road. It's going to be stop, get the kids out of the car, let them run around for a little while to get some energy out, throw a ball back and forth. Like each stop is going to be half hour, 45 minutes as opposed to 5 minutes. So we're just going to drive until we can't drive anymore on Friday. We'll kind of let
So you don't have a city. I mean,
No.
in your head, you're probably like, okay, we'll go 6, 7, 8 hours tops. Well, total, that's including bathroom breaks, food breaks, whatever. That gets you, maybe Kentucky type of.
I'm hoping for 6 hours.
Okay.
I'm hoping I can get 6 hours. So when we wake up on Saturday, we have no more than like 3, maybe 4 hours.
So you can kind of wake up, have breakfast, relax, not
again,
have to sprint to the car.
We can't get into the house until 4 o'clock anyway. So there's going to be no rush. We're even thinking we'll get up that morning, go to a park or go to look around and see if there's any little touristy places like a zoo or something like that. Hang out for a little while, then hit the road.
You thought about maybe, if you leave just a little bit extra early, maybe another half hour early, you could maybe do that quick diversion down the Fort Wayne, Indiana, and Ohio border and maybe take the family past the Mecca, Van Wert, Ohio.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe stop at, whatever Bob and Sheila's rugs that our billboard was hanging out in front of.
Yeah. Show them where Dad was famous once.
Okay, so I like this idea. So you guys are going to get to whatever time of the evening, see that, hey, kids are restless, Annette's restless, whatever, it's dinner time, and you're just going to pull up, Priceline on the phone and say, find the best deal for somewhere I'm not going to get shivved tonight.
Find a Holiday Inn Express.
Right.
Pull in there and sleep there for the night.
Now, have you done a mental packing job?
Yeah.
You have the thing on top.
Yeah.
But this is a vacation in the mountains, so I'm getting plenty of people, so I'm guessing there's food to be concerned about, drinks, all of these. And you have a baby, baby food, diapers, all of this stuff that has to be brought. Have you done the mental pack job, and you're comfortable with where you're at, and it's going to fit?
I mean, I'm never really comfortable with it, but Annette's the same way. So we have a note on our phone, a shared note on our phone. So anytime one of us says like, "Oh, we got to remember to bring that," pull open the phone, put a couple more things on the list. It's going to be a real test of patience.
Yes, I would love if you. And again, this takes some foresight. If you could give us our audience on social media, maybe that image of right before you leave, what'd the pack job end up like?
Right.
Because in my mind, I want Steve 12, 14-hour total drive time, no visibility from the rear view.
I mean,
it's probably not going to happen.
It's probably like, I can't imagine that there's going to be a ton of room. So we're not going to be like, oh boy, this is roomy in here.
And this is a full week?
Full week.
Whose idea was this? Because the idea of a family vacation like this, I'm sure your mother is beyond over the moon.
She can't wait.
And I am sure you, the kids, I'm sure they're all looking forward to seeing their cousins.
I'm looking forward to the whole thing, minus the 12 hours of driving on each end of it.
Where does this rank for you, though? Are you kind of calling this like, hey, we may never have this opportunity again with the entire family, right?
Well, because we did this, the last time we did this was in, let's say 2000, well, Annette was with me, so we were dating, so it was at least 2014. It was either 2014 or 2015. We went to Lake Placid in New York.
I remember this. Yes. Yeah. This was pre-podcast, but I remember this.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, by the way, happy 7-year anniversary to...
I can't believe
the
that.
moment, the day that we recorded for the first time.
We will have to talk about that.
Happy anniversary.
In coming weeks.
Yeah.
So you don't have nerves, or are you the kind of guy, because you're not by your family. Like your family, like you haven't seen Brother Mike since they visited last August after Nicholas's birth.
Mm-hmm.
When was the last time you were able to see your sister?
They were also here. They were here was it last summer? Yeah.
I'm guessing after Nicholas's birth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Actually, I think it was more in the fall that they were here.
So I think that makes it a little bit easier to be around because you're not seeing each other, 3 times a week, whatever. Do you think you're going to make it through the whole week without, hey, I just need 90 minutes in this room by myself with silence?
Or without, like, pre-packing, even though we're not leaving for 4 days?
Listen,
that's relatable, right?
Steve, we've talked about this a lot on my vacations and I forget where you landed on this. If you're leaving, now you're driving home. Are you on the drive home? Are you planning on doing the same thing, going as far as you can? Because in my mind, on the way home, you're seeing, you're like,
the metal.
I can pretty much see the sign for Michigan. And once we see Michigan, it doesn't make sense to stop.
Yeah. On the way down there, we'll definitely split it up over 2 days because we don't have a choice. We can't get to that. We can't get into the house Friday night. But the trip back, I think that we might break some land speed records.
So is this the following Saturday? Are you coming back?
We're leaving on Saturday morning.
Okay. So it's feasible.
Feasible that we can be back Saturday night.
So are you getting, like, whether it's food or clothes on Thursday even? And you're like, well, not going to use these again, but might as well put them back in my bag.
Start packing them. Better start folding them up nice and put them in the bottom of the bag.
Are you going to be that way? And your mom or brother or Annette even going to be like, oh, Steve, stop it.
I'll start thinking about any packing mistakes I made on the way down. Like, I should have packed the car like this. This suitcase, we needed to get to that, so that should have been on top. Or
we're not that far removed from when you took some photographs of your roof line and measured to make sure we bought the right amount of Christmas lights.
Yeah.
So this would not surprise me if you have a photograph of the back end of this vehicle and you are digitally placing in objects to make sure it'll fit before you leave.
It's like my own VR game.
That's right. But but nobody wants to play.
Vacation Packer.
Put that on the poll.
Would you play Vacation Packer?
Would you play Vacation Packer on the VR?
On the Oculus.
Listen, I'm excited for you. I think that it's worth it for the cousins alone.
Yeah, it's
because it's so infrequent that this is able to happen.
It's just a week. That's a lot of time.
It's a long time, man. So are you pulling out of town? Burning gravel as you tear down the mountain, saying "See you in a decade."
Leaving at 3 a.m. I just want to beat the traffic.
I want to get home this afternoon so I can watch Ted Lasso finale.
Yeah, I just have to give myself long enough time to forget about it.
I'm excited for you.
Yeah, it's going to be.
I cannot wait to hear how this went. The longest drive I've done with Reed is about 3.5 hours to the same camping area we're going this year.
Yeah,
and we took a little over 2-hour drive with him a month ago to a water park in northern Michigan. Mm-hmm. And we didn't even make it out of the county before he had to pee.
Okay.
So I can't wait to hear the frustration level on you when I follow up with you when you get back and we record.
Yeah.
About what happened. How long did it take for you to have the first stop? Mm-hmm. Did Daddy have any blow-ups? Is this one, though, too, where will Lynette offer to kind of pitch in and drive half the way or whatever?
Oh, yeah. She's completely open to that.
But are you something... Is this an ownership thing for Steve where it's like, no. I'll get us there.
I think just by default, that's usually how it goes.
I've started sharing those.
Yeah, I have. She will always offer.
But, I also always, I now defer to the air, which I hate, but I will defer to flight 9 times out of 10 for any longer than 5 hours drive. See ya.
We looked into it too, and there's not really a convenient place to fly into. Because of where we live, there's no direct flights.
And you're relying on someone else to pick you up in a car, and then if you needed anything, all of your belongings, you have to then go buy. Mm-hmm. So everything you're now commuting down there, in your coolers, your bags, whatever, you then have to go to the local tourist grocery store and load up.
Which we're going to do anyway. We're going to, because we're trying to split up the groceries that the family brings. That'll be one of the things that we do Saturday morning before we're able to get to the house. We'll just go and do our grocery shopping then.
Got it.
It's, I definitely have some anxiety about it, but what could go wrong, right? What could go wrong?
I cannot wait. Clip that sound.
I got a couple happy kids. They'll be perfectly fine in the car for 12 hours.
We got to clip that audio so that way I can play it back when we discuss this venture in about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
3 weeks we're going to 3 weeks or 4 weeks we're going to recap this vacation for you.
Yeah.
And I can't wait. Oh man, I'm so excited for you because I think this is one of those ultimate tests of being a parent.
It is. This is my first real test. Yeah, that's true.
You did.
Yeah, we did the flying thing.
And you did it alone as well. You did another one with just Evelyn, right?
Just Evelyn last summer, and then Evelyn's flown three times, I think, and has been absolutely perfect every time.
Love it.
Nicholas wasn't a problem when we flew a couple of months ago.
I just can't wait. You're going to wake up, one of the kids is going to be sick. And the other one is just going to be exhausted, for whatever reason didn't sleep the night before. God.
Last night we had a couple. My mom was here, Annette's parents were here, and her sister and family were here for Nikki B's first birthday party. Mm-hmm. We had a great time, and at the end of the night, we went to put Evelyn to bed, and it was 45 minutes after she would normally go to bed, but since it was a special day, she stayed up a little bit later, and then just absolutely hit a wall and lost her mind and was crying and hit herself in the face with a yo-yo and tripped over something and fell. And then at one point she's like, I just want to look in the mirror and cry. So she's just sitting there looking in the mirror and crying.
That's among the saddest things I've ever heard a child or adult say.
And at one point she was I'm sitting there with her and she's ready for bed and she just starts crying again. And she's like, I'm just so tired. And I was like, it's okay. You can just lay down and go to sleep. But her routine is we read a couple books before bed. And she is a stickler for the routine.
Needs the book. Yep.
Needs the routine. And I was like, just close your eyes and go to sleep. And for some reason, she insists that she sleeps with her eyes open.
Steve, they're so dumb.
So she won't close her eyes.
They're so dumb, these people.
It was comical at how just out of her mind she was.
It's beautiful. I love it.
Can't wait for like 6 days straight of that.
No, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Can't wait to recap.
She's not going to want to go to bed even remotely on time when all of the cousins are around.
Skip the naps. Go to bed.
Real quick before we get out of here, we have to do one quick thing.
Hey, folks, viewer mail time again. Oh, here's one from Sally, age 14. Dear Pig.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, listen to that perforated edge tear.
It's that time of the month, Steve, from our friends, as always, the Bill Payment Processing Center in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Maybe, if you really want to ramp up that trip of yours, take an extra stop.
Just swing by and say hi.
Anybody swinging through Sioux Falls in the near future, give an extra wave to our friends there at the Bill Payment Processing Center.
Maybe. It was really popular during the pandemic. Whenever you drive past a hospital, school, nursing home, you'd see those signs out front that say heroes work here.
Right.
Maybe plant a couple of those signs right in the Bill Payment Processing Center front lawn.
So again, before you leave for the Sioux Falls or passing through Sioux Falls, print a bunch of papers that said only heroes here or heroes work here or saving lives, et cetera, et cetera. That's our friends at the Bill Payment Processing Center.
The BPPC.
Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Our thanks to our friend Billy Stacks for another donation to the Slush Fund, Steve.
Thank you. What are we up to? Thousands? 2,000? 3,000?
Well, we just talked about emptying it last week or 2 weeks, whenever it was, to join the Valpak campaign.
How's that going, by the way?
Don't want to talk about it.
Okay. That good, huh?
Super efficient way to advertise.
Oh, jeez. Sorry about that. I just wanted to reach over and check this. Check the total on this check. Thank you, Billy Sachs.
Billy's coming through.
Staying consistent. There, appreciate it. All right, at Steve and Kyle, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Again, if things seem out of order these next couple weeks, like we talk about something but then don't reference it for a couple weeks. Or...
Yeah, like just that, what just happened about 30 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Maybe one of those.
Yeah, exactly. Because everything's all screwy. So we will talk to you next week. See ya.